to the G, G to the A, to the zigzag Z. Gravediggaz, nigga, 6 feet.
It's no secret that rap and hip-hop got a lot darker and more violent in the 90s. I'm not even talking about just the lyrics, I mean in real life, too. People in the rap game were getting hurt. There were criminal charges, grievous injuries, some even lost their lives. And looking back, it all seems like kind of a waste. What's the price of establishing street cred if it means you're not even around to make songs anymore? But at the time, as much as it pains me to say it, that realness is what we wanted. It made the biggest rappers feel larger than life. This sense that they came from this brutal, unforgiving world that was so foreign to most of us. Casting themselves almost as mythic Old West folk heroes. Survivors of some of the bleakest, harshest environments imaginable. There were some rappers who saw the potential in that approach, and used it to really explore the extreme depravity of their art form. And then some took it even further than that, to create what amounted to the grindhouse exploitation horror movies of the hip-hop genre. This style came to be dubbed horror rap, or horrorcore, and is perhaps best exemplified by a group from New York called Gravediggaz. Gravediggaz consists of 2 Poetic, aka the Grim Reaper, Fru Quan, aka the Gatekeeper, RZA, aka the Resurrector, and Prince Paul, aka the Undertaker. You might recognize RZA as being the leader of the Wu-Tang Clan, and Prince Paul as being the producer behind classic rap releases such as De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising, because that's who they are. At the time, they were labeled a supergroup, although the origins of their collaboration date back to prior to some of the individual members' greatest successes. They released their debut album entitled 6 Feet Deep in the United States, and I'm not even going to say the censored version of what this album was called outside of America. Let's just say it's a play on words that would be wildly offensive coming from me. You can go look that one up yourself. The concept behind this group is ingenious. If most rappers at the time tended to present themselves as gangsters, these guys were projecting an image of rappers as psychopathic serial killers.
Can you please explain to this court how these so-called spirits made you into these raving madmen?
Instead of your typical street tales about gang violence, you get these harrowing descriptions of torture and suffering so graphic and painful that death seems like it would be a welcome respite. There are also hints of occultism, the supernatural, demonic possession. It would all seem ridiculously over the top and gratuitous if not for 2 things. 1, the production on the beats is uniformly excellent, and establishes the perfect combination of tunefulness and unsettling atmosphere. And 2, the performances of the MCs absolutely sail their unhinged personas. If you're familiar with Resurrect's rapping from the early Wu-Tang Clan stuff, he brings a similar hyped up energy here, where with the Clan his delivery sounds merely aggressive. In this setting, he sounds like he might be legitimately deranged. His verses contain some of the most gruesome imagery on the album, rendered even more horrific by his psychotic, screaming rap style.
I cried as the blood dripped inside of my eye, refusing to die.
Grim Reaper brings a weird, wiggly, quivering flavor to his flow that is just as unique and idiosyncratic, with off-kilter accents and unnatural, drawn-out syllables, making him sound downright unnerving.
I'm rugged and rough, blowing up till I bust, while other rappers is flatter than a white girl's butt.
Gatekeeper is the other main MC, and his lyrics are just as blood-soaked and ugly as the others, if delivered a bit more conventionally. He can definitely bring a demented style to his verses when he wants to.
The crazy maniac, yo, lunatic. I circle like a shark when the fresh blood drips.
There are also contributions throughout the record from other rappers, such as Shabazz the Disciple.
First I'll assassinate him, and then I cremate him, then take all of his fucking ashes and evaporate him.
Killa Priest.
I slip up a nigga's thoughts with a pool of zodiac signs, and I slowly attack the mind.
And Dreddy Kruger.
Cause times is bad like luck, that's why I don't give a fuck. I dig up my nose and my butt on the bus.
But no matter who's rapping on the track, every song in here is just sick, and on more than one level. Let's look at some random examples.
Suicide into suicide. Suicide into suicide.
How about all the different suicide methods discussed in a casual, offhand manner in the song 1-800-SUICIDE?
Put a slug in your mug, overdose on a drug, wet your hand, stick a knife in the plug, or play like Richard Pryor, set your balls on fire.
The outright noise rap beat of Bang Your Head that almost sounds like something Dialect would have done 10 years later.
Feel no pain, those exposed to the raven, deep in every step of blood like what's craving.
And even when these guys are actually taking a break from killing sprees to abuse recreational drugs, it's all a bunch of bad trips.
I'm in a fuck, that's it, I can't escape it, it's like, oh, god damn it, I hate it.
I don't want to give away the whole album because there's a lot more wildness, but I do want to emphasize that while this is obviously in very poor taste and socially socially irresponsible to a degree that I don't think rap music had ever been up to that point. It does have a sense of humor about itself. Like, I don't know how this escaped the attention of the Focus on the Family types, for its outrageous ultraviolence, flippant blasphemy, and general shock value. I guess it just wasn't mainstream enough for anybody to care. The level of death and dismemberment they're describing here is heightened to an almost comical degree, and risks crossing the line into cartoonish ICP-type silliness, were it not for the skillful production mostly provided by Undertaker, although Resurrector and others also contribute to a few other tracks, and the absolute commitment to the concept from everyone involved. If you're into 90s rap and you can handle the gorehound elements, well, to be honest, you probably already know about this, but just in case, it is definitely worth checking out. For me, it's one of the best albums of the decade in the rap genre. Gravediggaz followed up their debut in 1997 with The Pick, The Sickle, and The Shovel. I'm not going to bury the lead here. This album is not anywhere near as psychotic or as good as the debut.
There was a pig, skin was black. They cleaned up the swine and they filthy acts. If not, they would be forced to set back.
A couple of things stand out right away. First of all, reading through the production credits on the album, Undertaker is almost nowhere to be found. He is listed on a grand total of 2 out of 15 tracks, and both of his contributions are skits. Instead, the other members of the group contribute the beats, along with some outside collaborators like True Master, Fourth Disciple, Darkin B. Allah, and Goldfingers. On the surface, this shouldn't seem like too big of a problem. If there's anyone who's produced more amazing beats over their career than Prince Paul, it's RZA. But here's the other thing. Wu-Tang had become a bona fide cultural phenomenon since the time when Gravediggaz were working on their first album, and RZA had spent the intervening years meticulously establishing individual clan members as solo rap stars, producing stone classic 90s rap albums for them like Liquid Swords, Return to the 36 Chambers, Only Built for Cuban Links, and Iron Man, not to mention Wu-Tang's own follow-up double album, Wu-Tang Forever. Can we really blame RZA if he's not bringing his A-game to his goofy horror-themed side project? Even the best producers have only got so many solid gold tracks in them. So what ends up happening is we get what amounts to a fairly normal-ish 90s rap album, containing virtually none of the gonzo madness that made Gravediggaz interesting in the first place. They've toned down the violence to acceptable gangsta levels, they no longer sound like raving nutcases, and the music doesn't even approach the cinematic intensity and uneasiness of the debut. If anything, they just sound like normal dance club beats.
If you could soar the sky like a bird, would you be disturbed to see brothers on the curb smoking herb and cops from the third precinct rushing like a herd?
Okay, some of them are good. Some of the production does stand out, but it's still not anywhere near as wild or inventive as 6 Feet Deep. And what's worse, the lyrics actually start to get a little preachy here. It's pretty rich coming from these guys. You can't go from telling us about how you're going to assassinate someone, then cremate them, then evaporate them, then expect us to start taking you seriously when you pivot to doing these grounded message songs.
Trying to be godly is hard, especially in poverty's backyard where violence is taking over.
I guess they deserve props for not repeating the same shtick twice, but the transition is just too abrupt. Essentially, it sounds like they're trying to go mainstream, as if the star power of Resurrector alone would be enough to elevate them. The main problem with this is RZA is already the mastermind behind a much more popular and frankly more interesting group. One Wu-Tang is probably overwhelming enough for anyone. I'm not sure what went down that caused Undertaker to take such a back seat on this album. He had just released his solo debut the year before, so maybe he was trying to focus more on that side of his career and less on collaboration? The next Gravediggaz album wouldn't come out until 2002, and by then both he and RZA were long gone. Unfortunately, in the cruelest possible twist of fate, Grim Reaper had tragically passed away the year before at the age of 36 after a battle with colon cancer. Gatekeeper put out a mixtape of sorts under the Gravediggaz moniker in 2004, but other than that, that's the last we've heard from them. And really, that's probably for the best. 6 Feet Deep seemed like lightning in a bottle. The perfect combination of musical and lyrical talent crossing paths in just the right place at just the right time. The 90s. If all we got from them was one classic album, then that's more than enough. I am Jacob, and this was Rad 90s Music. I'll see you sometime in the future.